I
Not me.
don't.
I never do.
We're live.
Well,
So
hey,
ask the question again.
they're gonna get it. This is what they're gonna get.
It's like, how many people have a bra on? None.
None.
So
Shake it, baby, shake it.
We're
so
hot as fuck.
funny. Right. Yeah. It's been a long day. It's
It
been a
has
long
been
day.
okay.
So hello everyone. I am Alum. This is my first live video, I believe, on my channels. So I am one half of our Exodus Life and 100% Finding Alum here on YouTube. And we have a very interesting conversation today, I think. We shall see how it plays out because we had some spicy conversations in our chats about all the stuff that is happening in the US. And while some may think we shouldn't talk about politics, I think it's relevant to what's really going on and the conversation about moving abroad. And today, I think I wanted to start off with something I said at Michelle's house the other day. Is the US is not a melting pot, it's bleach.
What?
Yes.
Bars.
Yes, because we were having a conversation about Black people living abroad and what we thought about the United States being a melting pot. And in reality, it's really not a melting pot. It's a place in which you get whitewashed fully
Oh
or
wow.
with some tint, during our interrogation.
See if we pass the bar. You mean?
The paper bag test, to see if we assimilate fully into what the United States wants us to be or live freely elsewhere outside of the United States.
I think at one point it used to be a melting pot. I think it used to be, because everybody came from everywhere. There was no restrictions. You came with nothing. You work hard, and people moved up the chain of whatever, lower class, middle class, or whatever. But now it's deemed wrong for you to be a part of the United States, if I could say it like that, unless you are um, this. But yeah, so everybody else is treated differently. So I agree with you on the part that about the melting pot. There is no melting pot anymore.
I agree. Everyone came from different areas and they were supposed to bring their best and bring their culture. But it has become everyone should pledge allegiance to this. They should be of this religion, this one religion, and look a certain way, have the same hair. You're othered if you don't. So, yeah, I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
How has being abroad changed that aspect, that thought process, that feeling? How has it changed that? I know for me, I feel like you're more able to be free within who you are as a person, and you don't feel like you have to assimilate or stop being you. Granted, we're all here learning another language, learning different culture.
Yeah.
We're not trying to change a culture. We're just trying to learn it and adapt. But I feel like we're not being asked to abandon
I think
ourselves to be where we are.
I think we're getting to see what humanity is really like being outside of the United States. Because when we are being seen, we're being seen as human beings. We're seen as just people. They want to know about you, not necessarily what you do or all of that. They want to know about you. And I love the humanity aspect that I'm seeing outside of the United States. We don't spend a lot of time initially getting to know a person. We get to know what they do, what they have, but not really to the core of who they are. And I really do relish that type of an environment that we're in. Anybody else? Tracy, Danielle, Michelle?
I think for me, human is that we see each other, right? We take our time when we go out to do things. We're not rushing through the process. We speak to each other on the streets, and I say we, meaning the local people. They will also speak to you. I think sometimes you have to initiate the hello because maybe they're used to foreigners not speaking. But every time I say hello, I walk in the mornings, and maybe in the past, I've felt uncomfortable passing, a group of men in the U.S. for the catcalling purposes and all of that nonsense. And I just don't experience that here, and I don't feel uncomfortable. I always say hello, and I always get a very warm reception. And I walk a lot in my neighborhood. Early in the morning, there are not a whole lot of people around, and I feel comfortable doing that. And I love when people respond to my hellos and my buenos dias and tardes, because it just feels like we recognize each other. We're not just passing by as if it's just air passing you or something like that. So that's something definitely different about living in Mexico for me, in a positive way.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Danielle?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I agree with Alam, like, and Bobby, like, you're able to be free. You can be yourself. There's no judgment, on, who you are. And like Michelle said, we're just human beings seeing each other, and, being kind to one another. That's the biggest difference is, I don't have to worry about code switching or doing any of those things here. I can just be myself. I can pursue the things that I want to pursue. I can dress the way I want to dress. And, nobody really cares. They just, the thing that matters is, are you a kind person? Are you, you know, um, treating people well? Those type of things are the things that matter. So that's what I love about being here and living abroad.
I agree.
Do you think that you're getting the American dream since you've left the States? Like you're finally getting like a
You mean the
full
American?
range of, well,
I
no,
mean,
I'm saying, do you think you're getting the American
I
air
don't know about
quote?
the American dream, because really, what
Well,
is
we're
the
in the Americas still.
Yeah, I
I
call
mean,
it
yeah, and
Central
We are.
The United States American dream. Like, what is that? It's like what the house, the picket fence, the two kids and a dog,
America.
um, a nice car. Like, it's all based in material things. I feel like the U.S. American dream is, and I feel like the real dream that we should all be seeking is freedom. It should be, in whatever that looks like for you. And I think that we get caught up in the U.S. American dream of attaining, and it keeps that goalpost keeps getting moved, and you got to keep going, keep going. You work yourself into an early grave. But I feel like the real dream that we should all be like pursuing is freedom.
Yes. We call it the Central American dream. How about that?
There you go. That sounds good. I
Or
like
the
that.
Central American reality, because we are attaining these things. It's not a dream. It's not
Right.
anything that cannot be attained. That's the one thing I want to stress too, is because it's an individual choice, and we were taught that the American dream is a collective thing. That is something that these are the specific things that you must attain in order to say you've arrived, and that is a fallacy, because we all have individual desires, wishes, goals, and all of that, and that should be celebrated in and of itself. So this is the reality, not the dream. And they were right by naming it the dream. They were right. But
True.
now we have awakened. Thank you. We're good.
What's the quote? You have to be asleep to get it.
Absolutely.
Is that what they say?
Yep. And we were all asleep. So, anybody else? Tracy?
We didn't introduce ourselves.
We didn't. That was going to be the next thing that we have a few more people.
I would just drink my tea.
We're diving right in.
Mm-hmm.
So I already introduced myself. I am Alum Williams, and I focus on kind of slice of life content here on YouTube on both our channel as well as my channel, Finding Alum, because that's the kind of content I like to watch. But these ladies and myself are putting on a wonderful summit called Redefining Life Abroad, August 10th and 11th, and I will be talking about freelancing, government contracting. Part of what I have been doing is helping small businesses navigate the government contracting aspect of their business and expanding into that realm. And I wanted to share that with people. I don't talk about it much just because I just don't, but that's something that, I've talked with these ladies and I've opened them up to, and I am offering as informational in the summit. We'll go with Michelle next.
Okay. Hi, Michelle Wedderburn. I am the founder of Casa Elm. You can visit my page at casaelm.com. I've lived in Mexico since 2018. So if you haven't heard of me yet, I'm very excited to be a part of Redefining Life Abroad Summit, virtual summit, and also to just know these amazing women that are here talking to you regularly. We have gotten together several times to talk about this summit on different channels, and it's just been really a beautiful thing. Growing together in San Miguel, and I say growing together because I think we are all still, setting roots in this new place that we all chose to be our home, and we want to also bring so much information and details to you. So Casa Elm is a guest house space. We're located in central Mexico in San Miguel de Allende. And by the way, we were voted the #1 best city to live in once again. So check it out for travel and leisure. If you haven't heard of it, just do a quick search and it will come up. And the city, the town, this area is just really beautiful. There's so much positive energy. There's so much community here. And it makes it very easy to integrate. If you choose to be in a place, I think it's really important to choose a place where you can really integrate easier, and is what I call Casa Elm, a soft landing experience. So for anyone who's interested in moving to this part of Mexico, my guest house space offers relocation tours, but we also offer soft landing for travelers. We just make it easier for people to get here, be safe, feel comfortable, feel like they're not doing it and going it alone, which is what this whole summit is all about. And in addition to that, we're just kind of, guiding you through navigating the city and getting you connected with the community faster. I mean, it's not that hard, but that's what we do. So I'm very excited to be a part of this, and thank you all. Yeah.
Awesome.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go since I haven't really talked much yet. So my name is Tracy Collins. I'm trying to focus right now. We just had a catastrophe, so I'm just trying to get my mind wrapped around tonight. But I'm excited about the event. So here on YouTube, on my channel, which is my name, Tracy Collins, I focus on business, wellness, and my life here in Mexico. So happened that, of course, we all live in San Miguel de Allende, like Michelle just said, and it is a wonderful place to come to when you are, well, not only because it's beautiful and we lit, but it's also a soft landing, and that was what, for us, I know that we needed. We are coming upon our year mark of living abroad, which is next month. And we have learned a lot. We've experienced a lot, mostly good. 99% 99% of it has been amazing. So we want that for you. And myself in the summit, I will be talking about business branding and development. I will also be talking about wellness. And Dee and I are collaborating, talking about LGBTQIA life abroad, which I'm excited to have that conversation because our travel experiences are going to be different from everybody else as far as the safety factor. So that's me. Yay.
All right.
Mhm.
I guess I'll go next. Hello, everyone. I am Bobby Robinson. I am I will say the better half, no, the second half of YouTube channels Aging Grateful and Black Married Abroad. Aging Grateful is basically about our experience moving abroad from Arizona to Mexico. We also talk about pre retirement planning and also that life does not end when you start getting older. We should be grateful for the aging process and celebrate that because we are still on a mission to enjoy this thing called life. And Black Married and Abroad, that's our other channel that I let my husband loose on, for those of you who don't know. And we talk about things that occur with being married, Black and abroad. Also, for those who are planning to move abroad and who are married couples, to be able to talk about some of the things that we've experienced in the planning phase and moving abroad, and just to enjoy a community of married couples. And to have that community and that solid rock to be able to say, yes, we have a community here built for those people to encourage, inspire, and educate and love on. So that's about us. I'm also a real estate agent in Arizona, but also here in San Miguel. So holla at your girl, your brown girl. And let's talk about you getting here, enjoying and experiencing all the San Miguel has to offer. And I am excited to be amongst these incredible women that you see before you. We didn't know each other before moving here, but this community is thick. I love it. We really truly do love on each other and support and encourage each other. And I'm here for this experience. So get your tickets if you have not on Redefining Life Abroad.
Thank you.
Who's up
That's awesome.
next?
Hey, that would be me. I am Dee Watkins. I'm an early retiree and an investor in the stock market as well as real estate. I will be presenting all things financial during the summit. I have lived in Mexico for 2 years now. I started in Guadalajara, and these wonderful women have kept me in San Miguel, which is a wonderful place to be. I run a YouTube channel called Brown Girls Invest Too, and that channel is geared toward helping people to grow their money, save more, spend less, and grow their money through investing in the stock market. There are lots of things that you guys can do right now, even whether you're going to move or not, to get your money together, just to be able to live, to retire, to plan for huge things in your life. So that's my deal. Glad to be here.
Thank
All
you.
right. Hey, everybody. My name is Danielle. I am a part of the Our Family Exodus YouTube channel. I have lived in San Miguel de Allende for about a year and a half, and that's the only place I've lived abroad. And my channel basically chronicles a day in the life or our lives, the life of my family, myself, my husband, our two children. I have two school-age children, aged 11 and 6, and my mother, who's retired. We all live together here in San Miguel de Allende. So we just basically share our story about, how it is to live abroad as a family. And for the retreat, or for the summit, rather, I will be discussing living abroad with family, with children, with small children. There are a lot of parents that I know are interested in moving abroad, but don't necessarily know if their children will be able to handle it, how the school systems work, all of those things. So I've lived that for 18 plus months, and I am will be here to share that experience with you, kind of give you some tips and some heads up about what to expect moving abroad with small children.
Perfect. And I will be talking about owning this business. That's my talk. I totally left that part out. So lots going on over here, but that is my focus, is to help anyone interested in having an actual brick and mortar business, and how I did that, how I continue to do that, and just passing those details on to anyone who might be interested in starting their own thing. It's not that difficult. There are steps that you have to do, but it's definitely possible. So, yeah.
Well, thank y'all for introducing yourselves yet again. I feel like we've done this many times
Yeah.
on many lives, and it's like y'all know us now. Y'all should know us by now. Should know who we are.
Yeah, get to know us.
Right.
Right. We're trying to be famous.
We're already famous. It's just they catching up to us.
We want
Already.
to be
Right.
more famous. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And today we're talking about, are you ready to leave the US American dream behind? Because I feel like with all of the things that is happening in the United States, um, I, I think some people are still kind of holding on to this idea that, oh, it's going to turn around, and not see the warning signs as actual warning signs. Still holding on to some stuff, still holding on to consumerism and things. And I finally was able to do this thing. I can't leave it behind, when there's something possibly greater once you release.
I think that what we're doing now in showing people, I don't know, I'm getting feedback, but showing people that there is an option, I think that helps a lot, because a lot of times when you hear people traveling or moving abroad, it's not us. They didn't really see us so much. It was others. But now we have this platform that we're using for the ability for people to be able to see, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all of that. So people really, and us being willing to share, that's another thing. Us now being willing to share the journeys that we are taking. I think that helps. It's hard when you can't see or don't see a blueprint or a roadmap or someone who has gone before you do it. So now us doing this and having the space, I think, helps a lot to show that people can do this.
Absolutely.
I think with a lot of like YouTubers, because we all have a channel, and a lot of YouTubers are showing like the very exciting parts of their life. And I think some people come to another country with this expectation that it's going to be so exciting. It's just going to have just all this excitement going on. And when they're faced with the boring parts of life, like the stuff that you did in the States, is more than likely what you're going to be doing when you are abroad.
Somewhat.
I mean, I always say to everyone, and I repeat this even when I was on with Krishan earlier, you really need to just know who you are. And sometimes knowing who you are, um, how you work under change and something that's not familiar with you or for you. You know, if you're leaving the US, maybe you did what you did for a long time. Maybe you are that cautious traveler. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these things. Maybe you haven't had the worldly experiences or whatever, but if you desire those things, you also need to be open to all of the challenges that can come with that. Don't let it crush you. Don't let it make you run back with your tail between your legs, you know? So I always say, sit down, maybe write some things out, contemplate different scenarios that can be challenging, and try to figure out, like, how would I respond to this? How would I respond to half of my stuff maybe showing up broken, right? I mean, are you going to be just like, or are you going to say, you know what? All right, I got most of my things. You know, we'll figure out how they reimburse me, but I'm happy I made it. I'm here, right? I made it to my new place, are you going to be able to adjust to different things that are not fast and quick? Because that's what the US represents. It's the convenience. Like because I don't live there, I am very like aware. I'm so much more aware of how programmed and conditioned we are. We really have been conditioned to be consumers, to overconsume, to rush through everything that we do. It's like convenience, quick, fast, everything is just like going at warp speed compared to so many other countries. So moving to a new place, you really need to understand who you are, and you need to understand how can I adjust. And you start by adjusting your mindset. You have to adjust your mindset. You have to come into this, because I can tell you, being here for 6 years and traveling for almost 30 internationally, there have been moments when, it's just really challenging. It's shitty, it's annoying. So everything isn't a bowl of cherries. So yes, watching those YouTubers who are really showing you kind of that vacation situation makes you think like you're doing some kind of fantasy type lifestyle change. But you need to know, like, what's your stuff already, right? What's happening with your life in the United States? And what are you bringing with you? Because whatever's happening over there, whether it's good, bad, in the middle, it's going to be here too. And you need to come here really open, I mean, extremely open to receiving all the things, good, bad, ugly, and really be able to embrace it, because you don't want to go back. I know for a fact, I don't care what happens, I am not going back to the United States. I am staying here in Mexico, or I'm going to pick another country. Like, there is no compromise there. And I have embraced that, so much so that I don't even visit the US unless I absolutely have to. It's a pass through for me. It's a leg in Dallas or wherever, and that's it. I go to see I literally was like, Mom, when are you coming back? And because I don't even want to go to visit anyone, because I don't want to be there unless I have to be there. That's how much I have adapted my situation. And I think you just have to be open to that. It is a process, and it can be challenging at times, but overall, the perks, pluses, the pros just really outweigh the cons. I mean, I've never experienced community here ever in my life this way. And to me, that really just makes it such a, I'm putting stakes in the ground. Like, this is where I'm at. And I've been in this position from the moment I got here. I can honestly tell you, within the first 2 weeks of living here, just the way I was received by everyone. Okay, not just the Black folks, because we weren't that many in 2018.
What do you say it was, like 3? No, 12?
There were 12. Literally, Stephanie, who was one of the 12, said they were the dirty dozen. That's what she told me when I first met her in the grocery store. And that's it. And now we're a bunch, right? And so for me, it's just a place where we are received, but we're in a good energy space as well, where people really are open to us. And I say people, meaning all people in general.
Absolutely.
Not everyone. Not every single person, but most people.
Correct. Yeah. I love Butterfly Effect said something earlier, not that one. She had something about her desiring a new journey. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Desiring a new journey that offers a new way of living, perspective, growth, and the ability to express her humanity in a welcoming environment. I think that is exactly what happens. That is exactly what happens.
That's probably one of the most beautiful reasons I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite. Like, I'm getting away from the States for negative reasons. It's like I want to walk into and engulf myself in these experiences. I think that is such a beautiful definition. And I will say, as long as you move with that in mind, you will be able to do that and create that kind of life for yourself with, by coming here to San Miguel. I mean, anywhere you choose to go in the world, but
Right.
I will always say I'm biased. I will always say that.
I mean, I would agree with you. San Miguel is a beautiful, beautiful place.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have had the most growth in my adult life being here. Because as much as there are these pluses, some of the shadow work, I should call it, because it's not really a minus, it's some of like the necessary work you have to do within yourself. You have the openness and freedom to start doing that, and you start being faced with like some ugly aspects of yourself that I feel like sometimes in the States, you are so busy, you have no time to really focus on that.
Mhm.
You're ripping and running. You're up at 5, out the house by 6, back home by 6, trying to cook, trying to clean, taking a shower, rinse and repeat. And so you don't have time to do that inner work. Um, we attended a great wellness workshop with Tracy the other day, where
Yeah.
we had a good conversation about who we are and who we want to be, and those are the kind of conversations that we typically have regularly, also outside of like workshops and other things. But it's those kind of opportunities I think being here has just opened up for me personally.
And with that said, like piggyback off of what Alan is saying, we're focusing on the premise of the summit is really about defining your life once you land, but how you can put things into motion now to set yourself up for success when you get to your place or when you get to, the other side of the border. Whichever border that may be. And because of that, there are going to be things like Alan just mentioned that comes up and that shadow work in place that needs to be done. Oftentimes, I was listening to you guys talking about knowing who you are, but the United States doesn't give you that opportunity because you're immersed into a culture of the must do, the must have, the capitalistic mindset, or these list of achievements that you need to, or these benchmarks that you need to achieve that constantly get pushed further and further, by the way. And so you're heavily indoctrinated into that way of life. However, when you take yourself out, now you're faced with who am I now? What now? It's the what now effect that people don't talk about enough, or they don't know how to deal with it because they didn't have the these preliminary conversations that we're starting to have because we've experienced it personally, and we want to help you guys do it better than we did. So with all of that being said, I just started to feel like it would be irresponsible of us for, us to tackle family and wellness and, LGBTQIA life and entrepreneurship and not tackle like having a mental health professional on board for this summit to pass you guys on to. So I'm excited. We have Zalani. I don't know her channel's name. Yes, I do. Flourishing. Tell me, D. Yeah, Black and Flourishing. Did I say it right?
Black,
Let me see if I can
black
find it.
flourishing and free.
Black Flourishing and Free. Is that say it right, Dee?
Yes,
Okay.
you got it.
And she is a psychotherapist, and she is going to be in place for where we can now pass you guys on to, so you will actually have a resource to continue to do the work on yourself. And we wanted somebody like who is professionally licensed to work with people. And the beautiful thing is Alani works with people all over the world. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you're still in the States, she's here in Mexico herself, she'll be here next month. She's in another part of the country, but she will be in San Miguel next month.
Woo.
Right. And that's what she told me, and I'm gonna hold her to it. But she's just a wonderful person. So I just think for us, we want you guys to know that that resource is also going to be available because we're forward thinking for you guys so you don't have to do the grunt work for yourself.
Absolutely.
I think people believe that moving abroad will solve like a lot of their problems, and they come with that expectation.
I have seen so many people, especially because I'm speaking on marriage specifically at the Redefining Life, and so many people come thinking that this is the cure all for their marital problems or their marital situations. And let me say this, if you didn't solve it before you left, it's going to still be there when you move abroad, and probably magnified because you have other things that you are also tackling together in marriage. So no, it's not going to solve everything, and things are just not going to go away magically because you decided to leave. There's some things that have to be talked about, dealt with. You need some things that you need to be loved on about, and you're also going to be changing as a result of leaving where you are. I'm just going to say this, you're not going to be the same person. You think you might be, but you're not. I can speak for myself. I know that there were so many things that I thought about that have been challenged in my world, my mindset, health, spiritual, physical. And so those are some things too that you do need to address. So no, it is not the answer. Moving abroad is not the answer if you are still dealing with some things. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
I mean, you're absolutely correct, because from my standpoint, I'm coming from like a freelancer and project management, all that aspect, and working with other small businesses. And if you're not an organized person, if you're thinking about you want to be like a freelancer while abroad and you want to handle multiple clients, you want to work with people, but you're not organized, or you don't have your business and structure in place, you don't have your things ready to go while you're in the States, it's going to be 10 times harder when you move abroad. It's going to be that much more difficult. And you don't have those things figured out.
I think High Vibe had mentioned here in the chat here that this isn't escapism, and it isn't, definitely is not. It is a chance for you to be able to live a new life, to be able to get to know redefine your life, get to know who you are. Because like Tracy was saying earlier, we are out the womb attached to labels. We are, we're children, and then we're teenagers, and then we're young adults, and then, we're workers, employees, or we're parents, and so the cycle always teaches us that that's who we are, these labels. But being here, taking a step back from that, I'm really getting the opportunity of the time to define who I am and not the labels that have been attached to me in society. Just stripping those away for a moment and saying, who am I really? And what do I really want? And, are these things that I liked back in the States? Are these things that I desire now? And being able to take a step back and evaluate that is huge. When redefining your life abroad, because there's so much out here that I had no clue about, because they only give you society only gives you so much. These are your options, and now that we're out and we're seeing that there's more to this world than just what we have been conditioned to accept, it is truly a refreshing thing.
Yeah, for myself, I'm here and I'm actually dealing with things from my 7-year-old and 8-year-old self. And I'm glad to be able to do that, because for me to get to the age that I am and finally realize that my 7-year-old self been navigating life, and I didn't realize it until I got here. Now, this is going to be top to bottom, inside and money wise, right? If you got bad habits wherever you are, you got to get those together, because you're going to bring the bad habits here. When you get here, everything's going to look cheap. Everything ain't cheap where you go, right? Especially if you get there and you think you're about to ball out and hang out with everybody. No, you got to be able to have your finances together as well, and know how to handle money in your new place. If you're leaving debt, go create debt if you haven't figured that out.
You guys, let's mute each other. Mute yourself when you're not speaking because of the feedback.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, when you're not speaking, you were just.
I got you. Is this?
We don't know. We don't know where it's coming from, but just to prevent it, it'll help if we mute ourselves when we're not talking. Thanks.
I wanted to chime in on this particular topic because I've been here a lot more years and I've seen a lot of all demographics couples fall apart. And I'm not trying to be negative, but what I wanted to say is that I believe a lot of individuals, where they're moving from, they're so used to their routine and their things. So, they're doing their life, right? Whatever that is, whether it's with their children, their spouse, their family, in-laws, whatever it is, right? That's the routine that we know, or that's the routine we've been doing all along. And moving to Mexico, a lot of times you're now detached from those routines and that circle of individuals, and you're with your, significant other. And I've seen a lot of individuals who've started really evaluating themselves, right? And who they are. And, oh, is this really what I want? This doesn't, like they're exploring other things. And I don't mean it outside of the relationship, just things that they want to do, whatever it is, horseback riding, suddenly they're interested in photography and art and all the things because San Miguel is that city. And I've seen those challenges kind of set in because you have to think, and I think Bobby's topic is extremely important. You have to think about the things that hold you. What's your glue, right? What is your glue situation? What holds you together away from the things that you kind of maybe became complacent with, right? Complacent with your past chapter, which is leaving that behind for the most part, right? Maybe your kids are grown, maybe not. I've seen all, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm seeing it all, and so it's just one of those things where I think we start to become more aware of who we are here. We become more aware of maybe the things that we feel like we missed out on in terms of the things we want to do and the things that are interesting to us. And you really have to be very aware of, how do I continue to water my situation, whatever that is, because I think it's easy to start feeling like, oh, this doesn't quite fit into the way it used to be or what it was. So I think that these conversations are sometimes uncomfortable, but they're very important to have. And so that topic to me is really key, for so many reasons. And having kids, that's another part, whether they're grown or not, just all the things. So this is really not just about how do I make the money and how do I do the things and how do I fit in. And yes, you have the community here, but it's also a very psychological effect that you have to really be aware of in moving. And I'm speaking because I've had the experiences and I've seen a lot of the things around me. And I don't like to come as like I'm a Debbie Downer, because I'm not at all. But I'm just saying, like, I've seen so many things happen that can be very challenging, and just food for thought.
Yeah, I agree. I think that like your why is so important, and it will hold you it'll hold you accountable, and it will also kind of keep you on the right path because yeah, moving abroad it's no joke. Like you come and you visit a place and you're like, okay, I could live here. And you get there and yeah, you have to adjust to so many things and it's a lot of change all at once. And that's not even adding on, a culture, not a culture, but a language, that if that applies, that might have to learn and things like that. Moving here, um, and moving into our home, we dealt with so many issues that, if we didn't really, really understand the reason why we were coming here, we would have left. The renovation of our house didn't go according to plan. There were some people that kind of took advantage of us in a major way. And, anyone else would be like, forget this. I'm going back home. I don't want to deal with this. But, having that, the reason why we were coming here and wanting a better life, not wanting to, live in stress and anxiety and all of those things like, butterfly effect. I think we put her, her desires, like those desires are real and are a real reason to keep in mind. If you're just coming for, oh, it's cheaper, you know, uh, you're not gonna last. If you're just coming because oh, I saw the beach and it was pretty and I like to see that. Like, no, you really have to define the real reason why you want to leave, and keep going over that in your head. So.
And I think we've seen that in other parts of Mexico, of other people who may have moved because it's cheaper. And once like the environment hit, like when we all went through this very bad summer and different parts of Mexico was ridiculously hot. We were hot here in San Miguel, even though it's usually moderate. There are people who were like, I can't deal with this. And they left because they weren't properly like dialed in and prepared for these changes in something as simple as the weather. And I mean, Dominique made a comment, and I just want to put it back up because I feel like it is a catch-22. Easier to address issues and heal abroad. And I feel like yes and no, because if you are coming from a very unhealed, unpatient place, I think abroad is just going to make it that much worse, especially if you're not ready, you're not in the right mindset to heal. The smallest thing is going to trigger you. It's going to set you off.
I think somebody has said it in the comments too, that um, wherever you are, there you are, or something like that. Someone had put that. If you're dealing with situations and issues, you're not escaping yourself. That I think that's what the person was really meaning by this quote. So when we're saying easier to address issues and heal, I understand that part. You're right, it is a catch-22, but you also have to be mindful that the place that you are arriving to, or what you're considering your new home, is not the offending issue or the situation. And I think that we have to take a step back and see how that healing process, what has to happen to have that healing process. Like Tracy was saying, we have the psychotherapist who will be with the Redefining Life Abroad to help in that. Mental health is definitely a huge factor. And I think especially from us being in the United States, it wasn't taken seriously for a very long time, especially for Black women as well. But this is, if we can keep in mind that this is an opportunity to begin again, but knowing that not everything is just going to be wiped away clean. And I think that's what we need to say. It's not going to erase itself and remove itself by you moving abroad. You still do have to address the issues. And speaking from the marriage perspective, those things are not just going to magically just go away. The conversation still had to be had. The time to be able to heal, to dedicate to working on yourself, those things still have to happen, but nothing is going to be just forgotten by the time you move abroad. That's what I'm saying from that perspective.
Yeah,
I think
for
you're
sure.
developing another muscle. I'm sorry. Go on, Danielle. It's okay. Go ahead.
No. You can go ahead. I'll go after you.
I do believe that you're right. You're not going. Everything's not just going to be rosy when you leave. You have to be able to be patient, and be resourceful when you go to wherever you're going. What I think is that you're going. Some of the pressures and the things some of the pressures and just allowing yourself to have the time in your new place, that gives you that time and the opportunity to go deeper in yourself and figure out what the real issue is and how you can handle it. But now you have to develop a new muscle in figuring and starting to navigate your new life, right? Being patient, knowing that things aren't going to come as quick as you would want them to come, knowing that you're going to have trouble in different areas of your life now. But as long as you know things aren't going to be butterflies and rainbows and all that stuff in the new place, I think you'll be fine. It'll allow you the time and space to do the work that you need to do. That's all I was saying about, being able to go and things get
Yeah.
a little easier for you.
Yeah, I agree with you, D. I think that that was, and someone just put in a yoga bliss dance also put a comment in right now. And yeah, I mean, I think what we're just trying to say is don't expect a place to be perfect, and don't expect your life to just instantly like get just change overnight. But however, I mean, when you're thinking about where you're coming from, where we're coming from, because the topic of this is leaving behind the American dream, right? So it's like, yes, you do have to deal with different, cultural differences, the way of living here. But I mean, from where we're coming from, just as a black woman, moving abroad for me did like my nervous system is so much better. My anxiety, like it was literally like a detox, right? So getting abroad, getting away from the United States, and just having the peace of mind to, yeah, not have to worry about going to the grocery store or the movie theater or wherever I'm going, and not really have to worry about a mass shooting or going to the park with my kids and, not looking over my shoulder every 5 seconds because I'm worried someone might snatch them up, even though I'm still vigilant, I have, common sense or whatever, but I'm not as on alert as you have to be every single day in the United States. That alone, is I can't be more grateful for that, for not having that level of anxiety and stress of being in big crowds and not worrying about what's going to happen. There are big crowds in Mexico. They have celebrations weekly where there are big crowds, and I'm not worried. Things like that can't really you can't put a price on that. You know what I mean? So yeah, your personal issues that you left the States with, but being in a different environment definitely allows you to have a slower pace to, sit down with yourself and deal with those things. I definitely agree with that. You have that time, you have some peace to, to address them. So yeah, I mean, yeah. You definitely can heal in a different environment. And then I think D put, how can you heal in the place that hurts you? And that's real too. How are you ever going to heal if you're still in the place with all of the things that are going on?
Tracy, did you have a church
And me,
finger?
I did. I had a church finger because I think I'm the only person in here who has been a victim of gun violence. And that has been an everyday part of my life since I was 7 years old. So never thinking that that could ever happen to you is an unrealistic thought. I was 7 years old, just got off from school. My mother picked me up, and my mom was shot with a double barrel shotgun right in front of me when I was holding her hand. So the bullet fragments could have easily hit me. And I actually thought I was shot. And I say that to say, you don't want to experience anything like that. And people are very remiss, or it's never going to happen to me mindset, just because until it happens to you or to someone that you love. And so I think we give the United States too much credit. It is not a flex anymore to be from the United States. It's just not. And the United States has travel advisories because of the shooting happen all the time. And so when we talk about safety, like that was my number one reason for leaving the United States, just the constant anxiety and fear around mass shootings because I had been a victim of gun violence. So I know firsthand seeing, my mother having a 50-50 chance of living, literally holding blood in her hand, not to get graphic, but that's the honest to God truth. And so when we talk about recreating our life, it's so amazing to me when people always talk about, well, what about the cartels? Not realizing, I don't want to get Alan banned, but the United States government is the biggest cartel of them all because they have their hand in it. And I think we talk about the pretty stuff, or the pretty stuff gets seen, but we're not talking about the everyday realities that can seriously impact you, like healthcare, like finances. These are the things that happen on a transactional day-to-day basis, and your safety factor is threaded throughout. So to what Danielle said, when I tell you just the relief, because I was a person who didn't like crowds for the same reason. I don't never trusted people. You never know what could pop off. And so to be in a place where we went to a parade a few weeks ago and we were surrounded by so many people. And I was like, oh my God, Tracy, you would have never done this in the United States because of that fear factor. So, I mean, I just think don't give the United States more credit than it deserves. One of the things that is indicative of future behavior is past behavior. Don't sit up and think that it's going to get better because it's not.
I agree. Can I chime in on the safety? That was also for me one of the biggest reasons for wanting to move away from the United States. I feel like the mass shootings started so long ago in Columbine, and up until this day, like decades later, really nothing has changed other than it's gotten worse. And when my son in kindergarten had to go to drills and hide in bathrooms if they had a code red, I was like, we have to get out of here. I haven't been a victim of direct gun violence, in that same manner, but it's been around me, sometimes going out to places where I want to hear the music I want to hear. We're walking through metal detectors. Yeah, I could choose to be somewhere else, but it's just the fact that that was even something that you had to do, right? And I've traveled to other places, other countries where like that's just not heard of. It's ridiculous. And the mentality that the US pushes through media, through movies, the whole nine is everyone thinks they're a hero because they have a gun, or I'm going to buy a gun and I'm going to protect my family. When the reality is, if your children are in school, you could have 3 guns at your house and some in your car and one in your purse. They're going to get shot because you're not at school with them every day, all day long. It's not realistic. I'm going to protect my family. You're not present when something could happen. And it's just absolutely ridiculous to me that this is what people think. It's like, let me go get a gun too, because I'm going to protect my family. You're not in a movie, right? You're not, this is real life. You are not a part of a Hollywood script where you're just going to whip out something and start defending your family. Look at how many children have died in schools, right? This is where we send them to have a good time, to learn, to play. And they're crazy assholes pulling up and running into schools and shooting kids and all. This is like when I talk about it, it just sounds so ridiculous, and living here, it's even more ridiculous. I've been around it. I remember that last year of living in Florida, someone outside my apartment where I was, my townhouse, decided to shoot 5 bullet shots off. And my son and I were sitting in the living room watching TV, which I rarely did in that particular space. And one of those bullets got wedged between my living room space and my bedroom space. Could have very easily came through the window and hit us. And I was just like, we have to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just that randomness. someone's car window, and it was just like this whole like thing where I heard the noise and I thought to myself, oh my God, that's a gun, right? And I ran. I literally in my house. I'm in my house, right? Just chilling. And this happens a lot in the United States. So for me, violence, guns, mass shootings, violence in schools, that always had me on edge as well. I did not feel comfortable even going out to eat and sitting on a sidewalk cafe, listening to music, none of the things. Being in crowds, I always was very uncomfortable, especially with my child. So I'm right there. I'm right there with you. It happens all the time, so much so that if it doesn't affect you personally, people just, oh yeah, we heard this on the news. Like it's crazy. Like if I hear about a shooting here in San Miguel, I'm worried because it doesn't happen very often, and I'm like, oh wait, what? Like who is that? What's that story about? So it's just a mindset that I think we have become so immune to. Living in the U.S., where it's just like we watch the news like it's no big deal, but then we want to point fingers at other places in the world, which is to me is just so backwards. It's crazy.
I think Dee has something to say. Dee?
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid because Dino has something to say right now. So listen, the comment that Butterfly Effect pull it up. Sometimes the American dream feels like bondage and shackles, and I want to relate that to what Kevin said. He said the American dream is attainable, but the cost of achieving it has significantly increased. All of that is by design. First of all, they tell you excuse me, 1 second.
It's okay. Dino's good. Dino's good.
You're muted.
I was giving you guys the meaning of life. You didn't hear it? Okay, listen. Can you hear me? Yes. They tell you to get the house with the white picket fence. So you do that. You save and save and save. And now I got the house. It's a small house, but you got the house. Then they say the house isn't big enough. So now you got to compete with your neighbors and get the house big enough and put all the nice things in it that your neighbors have. Then they want you to get the luxury car, right? So now you got to Then you got to go in debt to get the luxury car, right? After that, what about your college? All right, you send your kids to college and they find out you send them to the wrong college. They should go to the best colleges, right? And then after that, you get the degree. And then they say, well, we kind of need a higher degree. And then you go back to go get that one. You need a higher degree. Now you got another problem.
I started seeing, when I was in corporate, I started seeing job postings at the company I worked at that would say, you need a bachelor's degree from a prestigious university. That was now in the job post, because now it was no longer you need a bachelor's degree. It would specifically say from a prestigious university. And I'm just like, there's that additional layer. You told me I need to get a bachelor's degree. You do the 4 years, you get the bachelor's degree as an adult because maybe you didn't get it when you were in your 20s. And now that I've obtained it, now you've added another layer to me getting the job. Now I have to, from a prestigious university. And it's just, there's always this goalpost that is moving.
Yep. And then it's like you go to the college, speaking of just college life, right? You go to college, you get the loans or whatever you need to get through college, and then you apply for the job and they're like, oh, well, we need at least 3 years of experience. There's also that. So you've got your degrees, and then they're like, oh, well, you don't have the experience for the job. Sorry. So yeah, it's always something. Always something. And it is by design.
We are taught to be human doings instead of human beings. And it's something to say, walking away from life as we know it and being able to have the power given back to us to redefine who we are, the way we want to live, the community in which we are establishing ourselves in, even the place that we want to live as far as country is concerned. That is power. That is really the flex. that really is freedom right there. And that's the dream or the reality that we are pursuing, and we're trying to get others to see that this is absolutely doable. Somebody mentioned, oh, that was you, Michelle, modern day slavery. Yes, we have escaped the plantation, if I may say that, not to get you banned, Alan, but
I
we
think the
have
biggest
escaped.
thing, go ahead, Bobby.
No, I was going to say we have escaped the plantation, um, though we are still attached to it because we have family and friends and things like that that are still there. Our desire is to help other people to be able to understand that there is an escape route. There's a light that is willing to guide you into your freedom.
And I think one of the reasons why we are putting on this summit is because we want to show people that when you do decide to move abroad, you have to really redefine what that life looks like. It's no longer acquiring the things that display a status. It is living a life by your design. And what does that look like for you? And what do you unpack while doing that?
I mean, look at all of us, the community that we have joined here. I mean, just look at these women right here. I love these women right here. These women right here. Oh my God. I love you guys. And I'm telling you, this is genuine from our hearts. I mean, we literally have done this thing. We have moved abroad, but we are taking our time, our expertise, our experience, and our love for others to be able to do this and share the processes and the tips and suggestions and recommendations and the skill set in order for you to be able to do it. The community is a big factor too with moving abroad. I do want to say that also. I didn't think that when I first moved abroad. I was like, it's just me, my husband, and my kid. You know, we out here. But really understanding that it is also an important aspect of this is the community, and I'm not taking that for granted. So y'all chime in about that.
Don't think you can come here and wing it yourself. Good luck.
Yeah, that's not possible. That's not possible. You need people to help you navigate. It's just not possible. You can feel like you're doing everything by yourself. You don't need anybody, but because that's what the United States kind of tells you. And we're here to tell you that that's wrong. I mean,
and it's sorry, Aldo. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. No, it's a community. It is a community that it takes. It's releasing the mindset of I have to do it alone, or nobody is going to support me or help me. And that is the complete opposite of what your experience should be when you move abroad. That's why selecting a place is so essential as far as how do you begin to integrate yourself into community, and starting the process prior to leaving too. Meeting people, having conversations, experiencing, a summit like this. So you would have the opportunity to meet with us on a different level to help you get prepared.
Yeah. And we have added a new ticket to the summit. It's going to give you 72 hours access once the talks go live to view them at your convenience. You can view them live and or replay to ensure that, whenever you're available during that time frame, you are able to catch the live Q&A, as well as still benefit from the summit. I'll put the link in the chat.
I think Kevin too, while you're doing that, Kevin Lips put out something about being essential to familiarize yourself with the native language, I think, of the country you're visiting, as it will greatly facilitate your transition. Definitely agree with that. But also not just familiarizing yourself with the language, but the culture as well. We definitely want to make sure that, we are immigrants here. We are immigrants here. And I will speak to the fact that here in Mexico, in San Miguel especially, but in Mexico, they do embrace us. They love on us. They are open and willing to share. And I love that about this culture. And it just makes you want to do the same. And being respectful of the local people here is truly important. And we're not here trying to take over anything. That is not our job here. We are here to integrate, assimilate, and to respect and honor the new place that we call home, and find out how we collectively can also give back as well. We're not here to take, we are here to just enjoy and to carry our fair share as well, but embrace this new culture that we have aligned ourselves with. So we want to also make sure to say that as well. We're not out here trying to be Karens and go off on people or anything like that. Hey, it's going to take us a while to get our food, and we're at a restaurant. Great. This is how it is. Great. This is what we have to adapt to. Not coming with a better than mentality, because that is not the case. There is no better than here. We're just trying to make sure that we love on the country that we have chosen to call home. Anybody else want to expound on that?
No, I think you really summarized it very well, because I feel like we do experience other people who come with the mindset of wanting to change things, and that's not what we're coming here for. We're coming here to just have some peace, examine ourselves, redefine our own lives, and enjoy some of that freedom that we really want that we haven't been afforded. I want to switch gears and move into something that we talked about separately that's not necessarily about the American dream, but about your individual services that you offer, because many of these ladies offer consultations. And I just wanted to touch on that, because I know we are putting on a summit, and the summit's going to be very detailed with what we have to offer individually. And you get one package, and you get access to these beautiful ladies during that summit. But if you are so inclined to want to book everyone individually, that's perfect too. So I wanted you guys to talk about your individual consultation offerings and price associated, because I really think it's important that people understand that what we're giving with the summit is a package, and it's a package access essentially, versus individual bookings, because I know several of you have a booking that is probably more than the summit price.
All right, I'm gonna jump in here. What I do is I help people build their wealth. I said wealth. I did not say I help you learn how to save. I help you to grow your money significantly. I have not worked in 5.5 years because I've been retired for 5.5 years. I've not touched any of my accounts. I've done that on my own, and I teach other people how to do that. My mid-level pricing is $500, and it's actually not enough because I know what I am doing for you. You might not understand. It's too much. I'm about to make you hundreds of thousands of dollars. It is not enough. I'm not trying to flex on anybody, but I know what I do, and I understand where I can put you financially. And if it's important to you to be able to live how you want to live later on in life or right now in life, then my services are something that you probably need. Most people, if you have a company sponsored plan, you're probably underperforming. If you are an entrepreneur, you're probably not investing. If you are, great. If you're not, you probably should be. For the workers out here, we've got artificial intelligence coming, right? Artificial intelligence is automating people out of their work. I hope you're not one of them. And if you are, I hope you're saving enough money to where you're going to be able to take care of yourself when the people tap you on your shoulder. I hope that you join us, right? You can get me on the cheap in this summit, but if you come to me, you can come to me now, you can come to me later. If you come to me later, it's going to cost you more over the money you've missed over time.
Absolutely. Okay.
So, like,
Michelle?
See.
Yep.
Um, Okay, so with my consultations, just for the one-on-one, which is normally like an hour to an hour and a half, is $250. And this is for individuals who are interested in relocating, learning about how to open a business abroad, things like that. So yes, it's a bit more than not a lot, but it is more than our weekend with us as a whole, as a group. And if you want to come to Casa Elm in person and experience either one of my relocation tours, or you want to just come and spend a week or experience a sabbatical, yes, you're going to probably shell out at minimum $1,000 for one of those things. My relocation tours are this year, I think they're like 2,700, and next year they're going to be closer to 3,000 because a lot goes into that week to spend 5 days. And also the consultations are probably going to go up next year. So we're here to really, group together and, do what we do individually with our channels and all of the conversations that we offer you all at no charge, just on our channels. And we're putting the summit together. There's 6 of us, and we are with so much experience, put together all the years of experience. We were talking about that the other day, and you're getting a lot. You're getting a lot. So we just want to kind of like share all the things that we know, and hopefully make that process for you a lot smoother in time and money.
I'll go next. So my husband and I, with Aging Grateful and Black Married Abroad, we do offer, we're move abroad relocation coaches. So we actually help you plan and prepare to move abroad. For our discovery calls, which is our starter package, is $150 for the 1 hour session. Now, if you continue to work with us, it can go up to $500. If you hire me also as a real estate agent, because that's what I do as well, just my starting for rental packages is in the $1,500. So you are getting a lot of great information with us with our coaching package as well. So yes, you are getting a discount for this specific summit. Absolutely. Tracy or Danielle or Alan?
So I guess I'll go. So I work in the digital space, and I have for a very long time now, which was very unique for what I actually did. So I built a company, and I also sold a company, and it was all digital. And I also brokered major partnerships, Walmart being one of them. So for me, I do business coaching and development with the integration of AI and how to create and market digital products, and also how to write proposals in working with clients. I work with clients on a minimum of 12 weeks, which is 3 months, to hire me for said services. Because of my level of expertise in 2+ decades, it is $7,500 to work with me for a minimum of 3 months. I do other things as well, but that is what I will be talking about, in the reference of business marketing and development and branding and creating a successful infrastructure when it comes to monetization and scaling. I'm a firm believer in, I want to make money from anywhere. I don't want to be tied down to one specific location. I want to have physical autonomy and time autonomy. And the best way for me to do that, for people who are seeking to do the same or who want to take their business to the next level in the digital space, that's what I do. And I have worked with a lot of beautiful people and have helped them scale their businesses and brands. And now with integration of AI and how strategic marketing, you really have to understand your target demographic and what they're looking for. So for my services, it is a minimum of $7,500. For me to even speak, to come to, as I do public speaking, I have $5,000 on just for virtual presence and $7,500 for 1 hour.
Okay. All right. All right. Just wanted to highlight Butterfly Effect. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you at the summit. We're so excited. Yeah, I don't typically do consultations with individual people who are looking to do freelancing work and government contract. I work with businesses, and I work with businesses in the growth phase of their business, those who are making at the very least 250,000 plus and are ready to move to the next level, but are not quite yet ready to hire on someone full time. And so those are the businesses that I work with, and this is a niche. This is a niche area. And in working with those businesses, I have seen several niche areas that my clients have needed. And they have asked me very specifically, do you have someone who can do X? And I'm like, I do, but they may not be reliable. And I'm like, I don't want to refer people. But for my clients, I'm charging $150 for an hour. So this summit for all access pass right now is $249, and the 72-hour pass until the 14th, I believe, is $149. And you get access to all 6 of us, as well as a 1-hour Q&A for each person. And you can ask them all of the questions that you have been able to gather during the summit, everything that you can think of. You have that time frame in which you can ask them, as well as continue to build relationship after the summit with them. And I just think it's very important that when you're thinking about moving abroad and you're thinking about your life abroad, you have to kind of think about, what does that really look like? And you don't know unless you actually consult people who have already done it. Do y'all have anything else? Because we've been on for like a little over an hour.
Yes.
Are there any questions that I missed? The chat was like going really quick.
No.
There was something about, was it, let me go back up.
If you had a question, submit it really quickly.
Yeah, and I just want to welcome Black Flourishing and Free. She will be the psychoanalyst, whatever.
Psychotherapist?
Psychotherapist, yes.
There you go. Yeah.
We spoke of her.
Hello, Black Flourishing and
Thank
Free.
you.
Welcome to our community.
Can't wait to see you next month. I'm going to hold you to it.
We all are going to hold you to it.
Yoga Bliss has a question. So what we are covering is applicable to no matter where you decide to go. We just so happen to all live in Mexico, and so happen to all live in San Miguel de Allende. But what we are all talking about is universal. And that, to me, is the beauty of it. Now, if you really want to get down and dirty and you really want to be specific about Mexico, we got something else too for you. Yeah. But I'll let the others mention that, what we have going on. But redefining life abroad is not just about us in Mexico.
No. Go ahead, Dee.
No, I was just think about the things that we cover. We're talking about building an online business and growing your business. We're talking about building a brick and mortar business. We're talking about traveling and moving your family. We're talking about building your savings and investment. All of that is universal. So just think of it that way. It's not, we just so happen to be in Mexico. That's all.
Absolutely. Somebody asked Dee, are you familiar with the deferred compensation retirement program for police and fire? Denica.
Yep. Yes, I am.
And she'll leave that. But yes. I will.
How are you?
I think it was from Samry Bliss. Okay. I think that's where it came from. It said, I'd love to hear about your long-term plans for the coming generations in
Yes.
Mexico. They'll have a new identity than their cousins in the USA. Long-term
Thank
plans.
God for that.
Mhm.
That's it.
Hmm.
New identity. My son has a Netherlands passport. He has a Mexican residency. He has a Canadian citizenship, and he has a US passport. So the plans are that he will be a real global citizen. We have already worked to change the trajectory of his life, and he speaks two languages currently. He is currently learning French and Japanese on his own accord. And so, in my opinion, and yes, I'm bragging, it's going to be preferably a much better choice for him to be able to move around the world and take advantage of the things that we did not get to take advantage of. I'm also looking into him getting his Jamaican citizenship along with myself because that's where my parents are from, and I'm reclaiming my heritage and my roots.
You
I just want to speak to one thing that you're saying. She's got multiple. You're going to have multiple passports.
Yes.
If you guys, if you don't do this, or I'm telling you to consider doing this very quickly prior to this election, the next administration, this Project 2025, there's a good chance that they will make things harder for people to get a passport to be able to leave, right?
Woo.
Don't wait on
and
doing
Yeah.
something.
the United States is so great at playing the long game. Project 2025, it's funny to me because now people are scrambling like, Project 2025. This has been in the making since Reagan. So when I tell you they sit back and play the long game, one of the things that Republican side has is a unified front, no matter their individual differences. So when I tell you the United States is playing, y'all F around and find out because they not playing with y'all.
Yeah, and guess we're going to find out.
Well, the
Yeah.
long game here is global citizenship.
Right.
That is the name of this game. And the
Right.
more of us that stand up and realize that we can do this and we don't have to rely on the United States and all the stuff that comes with it, we will be better off. And it's not just one of us, it's going to take all of us to be able to do that. And that's what we're doing, is one moment at a time, having these lives, having these summits, having these conferences, building these communities. And that is the long-term game, is to have global citizenship. Because I don't know who thought of these, you can only be here. I don't know who thought of that, but it's time to break that.
And I like
by
to
the way,
say that people who think that they can't, sorry, D, people who think that, our ancestors built this place and we can't leave, I like to say that you're being bullied by dead people. Your ancestors want you to go. They want you
Yeah,
to leave.
like they didn't decide to build the United States, y'all. They
You're
didn't
being
get
bullied.
together and say,
They
"Hey,
want
let's
you to
build
go.
a country." They, they-
Right.
that ain't how it happened. Okay.
Pants on fire. Okay, that's what it is. Pants on fire. But this is the last question before we log off.
Oh, wait, Danielle got
Oh,
something to
you
say.
had that? You had something?
Yeah. So, okay. So, yes, I just want to say to anybody watching who has the desire or has a sense of urgency about moving abroad, please follow your intuition. Please follow your gut. I felt the same. I had a feeling that, and I couldn't explain it, I couldn't put a name on it, but it was a sense of urgency. It wasn't, oh, let me go visit this place and, think about it maybe a couple of years. No, it was very, very clear and it was very, very urgent that said, you need to leave. And if you feel that way, and I feel like there are many people out here that have that feeling, but they don't know what to do, they don't know how to go about it. It sounds hard. It sounds like it's going to be, something that I may not be able to do. Oh, I have kids. Oh, well, I have this job. Oh, I have this. Oh, I don't make enough money. Oh, whatever your thought in your mind is that is keeping you from moving forward. That is what this summit is for, right? It's the knowledge, it's the information all in one place. It's not you have to go to all these different sources and all of these different things to get the information, to figure out what it is that you need to do. We've all done it, and we're giving you the information to make it easier for you. But it's not a game. Like, it's at this point, it's really not a game. I am so grateful just looking back on how I followed my gut, because it's getting real, y'all. It's nothing to play with. Like, this is your freedom, your literal freedom that they are taking away. Every week, there's a new freedom that they are revoking, that they are taking away. And you do not want to be stuck in a place where you have no ability to get out. It's having the option. It's being able to, like Michelle said, be a global citizen, have your children speak multiple languages, be able to experience different cultures, not have the stress and anxiety of being targeted because of the color of your skin, because of the color of your children's skin, all of those things. So, like, I just encourage you to follow your gut, and to invest in yourself, and to make a decision that you are going to reap the benefits from. Your children, your generations to come will reap the benefits from. And that's it.
And I know we left in June, and by August, there was a racially motivated mass shooting in my city. And places in which you don't think it would happen, it does happen. But anyways, this will be the last question, and we will log off for now. And I think this will probably be a very easy, short answer. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For
This
sure.
is
Super easy.
This is not a race, it's a journey. That's it.
Can we just shout out this picture though of them? Look how
Aren't
beautiful
they cute? They are really beautiful. I love it.
Beautiful.
I mean,
Beautiful. Absolutely.
I love when husbands are smiling in photos,
Yes.
because oftentimes they have like straight
He's got to be doing
face.
mugging.
Yeah. It's like I love when
all
they're
the time.
smiling in photos. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Absolutely.
and then also, really, really quick, one of the things that we're going to open with or close with at the summit is you guys will be able to ask us questions, because we're going to be talking about in a collective setting what community really has done for us, and how we have cultivated and continue to nourish this community on a daily basis, and what roles we play. You would be surprised how we each play individual roles within our community too. So just to give you guys an immersive sense from virtual space, what community could look like also for you, no matter where you go, and like key elements that to look for when creating or immersing yourself in community that could be beneficial in your move abroad. So you guys will be able to experience us and ask us questions collectively within the summit about how to successfully cultivate and create community for yourself abroad. Yes.
All right. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate y'all. Everyone's channel is linked in the description below. Feel free to check their channels out, watch their videos, subscribe to their channels, like this video. And we'll see you again in probably Tracy's Friday Night Live.
Because I told my
Tomorrow.
I told my audience.
Channel.
It's D's next.
I'm saying, but Tracy is the next live.
I thought you were saying.
What, D?
Tracy's live comes up on Friday.
Okay, we're gonna start arguing now.
Yes.
We're sisters in real life.
Right now.
Right here, right now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.